You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There we are. We're here. We're live. We just watched the Yankees lose in very stupid fashion, but we're here. Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, this was not a fun New York sports night.
No, not at all. It couldn't have gotten worse, actually, for the Rangers or for the Yankees. And not the kind of night you want to see out of your road trip either, right? Going to the San Diego series, playing as well as they were, and then all of a sudden it goes like this. It's
right.
Not going off to a good start.
Yeah, not great. Before we get started, although some people were talking about the Anaheim thing, we'll get into that in segment 1. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please keep resubscribing if it unsubscribes you. Like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when they go up. And today's show, talking about the game. We're going to talk about some interesting things that Brian saw on the internet that he's going to react to with regards to how Yankee fans are treating some Yankee players and how they think that they should go. And one of those players, I might have changed my mind on him tonight after something that happened. And then we're going to preview Game 2 against Anaheim. So let's just get into this annoying game. The thing that annoyed me the most, how do you only score 3 runs against that team and that pitcher who had been pitching a little better lately, but overall not. And there were some balls that were just, like Austin Wells has the worst luck ever. And then he gets that double. And then Rojas waves Glaber home for some unknown reason. And that just killed them.
It seems like the mantra with Yankee teams, right? Though it seems like the better pitchers they face, they have no problem going up against and scoring runs and squeaking by a couple runs and stuff. And then they face guys with 7 ERAs and make them look like, prime Jacob deGrom. It's
right.
So strange how we've seen this for years, actually, where the Yankees seem to struggle with teams or pitchers that are some of the worst in the league. I don't understand why, but it's been their mantra for years now. And this was another case of it.
Yeah. I mean, there were obviously positives to the game. Nestor, would have liked for him to last a little longer. Didn't really enjoy the home run to Pilar either, but at least he kept that streak going, and the Yankee starters are doing better than any group of starters have ever done in a 15-game period in baseball history. That's pretty cool.
This is a very Nestor road start too, right?
Right.
Where a little over 5 innings, doesn't strike out a lot, 2 earned, 5 hits, pitched well, battled, did his thing, but at the end of the day, it was a very Nestor road start. He wasn't an ace. He wasn't a terrible pitcher. He was Nestor Cortez.
Right. Again, the worst thing you can say about Nestor Cortez is that he has the worst ERA out of all the Yankee starters, but his ERA is still, how many teams would kill for their worst starter to have an ERA in the mid-3s? Your worst team. Starter. It's unbelievable what these guys are doing. And Soto with the home run, he starts things off. And, he coming into the game, he needed to hit a home run in Anaheim because he's trying to hit one in all 30 parks, and he hadn't hit one yet. And boy, did he hit that one.
Staying on top of that ball is what's impressive, right? That ball was up in the zone, and to stay level with that ball and carried out of the park like that, unbelievably impressive. There's a select few hitters in major leagues that can actually evenly put a bat on a ball in that part of the strike zone, and it just happens to be that 2 of the other ones are on his lineup, in the next 4 hitters in the lineup.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. that is something that not a lot of players in Major League Baseball can do. That ball is, and more often than not, that pitch is popped up in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he's really unbelievable. DJ was back. DJ was running the bases. DJ looked okay.
Scored a run.
Yeah. Stanton running on a drop strike 3 and making it to first, like running like the wind, so it felt like
MRI pending.
Like it felt like one of those games that they should have won because things were going their way, but then there were other things that didn't. They left 8 guys on base and they had opportunities to blow it open. They didn't. They should have. This is a team you're supposed to beat, but it's only one. They can still win the next 2, and it'll be okay, Jared. I see you in the chat. It'll be okay. I promise. Canely back and pitching and sweating a lot in the new uniform.
They looked as whole as they've looked all year, though.
Yeah.
Like roster wise, this is the intended roster minus Garrett Cole, which means you're not going to see him playing every game regardless. So this is what the intention of the roster is supposed to be anyway. So, I mean, look at the positives that you get out of games like this, right? Like we've said before, the best teams of all time lose 60 games.
Sure.
Right? So, I mean, you have to take losses happen, annoying losses happen, bad losses happen, blown saves that happen. Like you weren't going to see a whole year, like we've said 1,000 times, you weren't going to see a whole year of their bullpen dominating, of Weaver pitching as good as he's pitched all year, of Holmes not blowing saves. You weren't going to see that throughout the entire year. Was the start impressive? Absolutely. But you got to give them a little bit of leeway to return to the norm.
Sure. Speaking of that, Weaver, 1 scoreless, 2 strikeouts. So he came in, did his thing. And then Rizzo, my God, he's having one of those years where he's not doing well on either end of the ball at the moment. Like his May has just been atrocious. And it's just, between him and Glaber, although Glaber did make a good play, that inning could have been worse. He saved that inning from just getting really out of hand. So I'll give Glaber credit on that. But you can't have games like that. And now with DJ back, maybe DJ spells Rizzo at first every once in a while.
If he plays well, I mean, Rizzo did start to pick it up in late April, right? He started to catch fire a little bit, and then it felt the calendar turned and he started to fall apart a little bit. It's been I hate to be that guy because it feels like he's been a different player since the concussion.
Well, it's not
right. Like
but
it felt like that
lying.
It felt like it was a turned page in his career, though. It felt like since that moment, he's become a different player, and he's not necessarily a bad player right now. Like he's still there are still qualities that he serves for this team, right? He's a really solid leader for them, right? He still does put together really professional at bats, which is what you do. There is a place for him in the lineup. I'm not saying that, but you've already seen it, right? And Boone's already moved him down in the lineup, and that's already weeks old at this point, right? Verdugo's taken his spot, and it's not like Verdugo is this. He's been a really good hitter for the team, but he's not a killer up there, and they've already replaced it with Verdugo, to split the lineup a little bit and put the lefty in there. They've moved Rizzo down, and Rizzo's fielding hasn't been terrible, but it also hasn't been great.
Right.
And
it just feels like anytime he makes a mistake, it's a costly one.
And it's highlighted,
yes.
Right? It's more noticed.
Yes. Yeah. Like you can't, that just can't happen. But, okay. So speaking of the streak, we'll end the segment here. So most consecutive starts with 5+ innings and 2 runs or fewer since 1893, because that's when the mound was moved to 60 feet, 6 inches. So the Yankees of 2024 since May 12th, 15 consecutive starts. They surpassed the 1907 Phillies, the 1968 Pirates, and the 2022 Mets, who all had 14 straight starts in that same way. So impressive. Again, without Garrett Cole.
Yeah. Well, that's
Just
the biggest
amazing.
surprise out of all of it, right? The fact that you've done this without, the guy won the Cy Young last year.
Yeah.
And again, we've been saying this for a while, but it really is the truth. If they were 500 right now, you'd kind of take that. Finding out the way that it went, like afterwards, you wouldn't. But at the start of the year, if I told you at the turn of the calendar into June, 2 months in, that your team was 500 without Garrett Cole and with Aaron Judge having an awful first month, you would have took it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you look at where they are now. You look at what they've done now. You look at how good the pitching has been and how Aaron Judge has been. They've been better than expected, better than advertised. So, It's been that good. Again, they're going to lose games, and it's hard to watch games with this and be ultra frustrated in how they played because, I mean, how many games this year have they won where they have had no business winning so far?
Right. Okay, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a lot of fun. So coming up next, we're just going to talk about some things having to do with the Yankees and who should stay and who should go. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebay.com/motors. That's probably not correct. Hold on one second. ebay.com/no, that's not correct. I don't know what the correct thing is, and I'm screwing this up live. Fun. Okay, anyway, eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. See, this is what happens when you do things live. Why is that not correct? Something got screwed up in the copy and pasting. Anyway.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Locked On Yankees as I screw everything up. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. It's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. By the way, speaking of that, they honored John Sterling in Anaheim. They put it up on the scoreboard, which I thought was very nice.
Michael Kay was honoring him too. If you go on the Yankees social media and see the suit that Michael Kay was wearing, people were giving, Aaron Boone in particular was giving Michael Kay a little bit of flack for the suit that he wore. It was a very John Sterling-esque suit. It was very funny.
It was very, very funny. Kay was basically like slaughtered. He was
double-breasted, 3 buttons. It was a very old school suit.
Yeah, Boone
not
really
the best fashion choice.
Yeah, Boone really gave it to him. That was really funny. All right, so
Stacey,
tell everyone your ideas.
It's been news all over Twitter, and I don't understand why necessarily. I get guys struggle, right? And you see guys struggle throughout the season, and certain guys in your lineups, OPSs are going to be lower. So I'm not arguing that, but we do have to acknowledge that there is something to chemistry. There is something to team chemistry. And when a team is playing as well as the Yankees have played this year, I'm more of the mindset that you don't screw up what's working, right? You don't fix what's not broken. And a lot of people have this mindset for whatever reason where they want a Hall of Fame player to be playing at every position. And you can't get that in every sport. You can't get that in every league. And for some reason in baseball, Yankee fans and baseball fans around everywhere want that more than any other team. And there's been a lot of motivation out there. There's been a lot of push that Yankee fans want them to acquire either a better first baseman and replace Rizzo, who has a 693 OPS, a better second baseman in Torres, who has a 628 OPS, and a better third baseman in Cabrera, who has a 646 OPS. While they're not tremendous OPSs, let's keep in mind that average in baseball is about 800. So these guys are about 100 points to 200 points below average, which is not that crazy. We know what Glaber's capable of. We know what Rizzo is, and we know what Cabrera is, a young player with DJ coming back to assist. you need to get over this aspect that there needs to be a Hall of Fame at every position. They don't need to necessarily always add every single deadline and be in the market for a big-time player. And news alert, we've been saying this a lot, and it needs to be continuously said. The Cardinals are not trading Nolan Arenado. Okay, they are not enough. Just because the Cardinals have a bad year doesn't mean they're going to trade a Hall of Famer once in a generational type player. And I will remind you guys, the last time we were all gung-ho on trading for a player they didn't need, it was in 2020 when they traded for Joey Gallo. And they forced that trade because Cashman, the fan base was in on this too, but mainly Cashman was obsessed with Joey Gallo for years and years and years and wanted him and that lefty swing in Yankee Stadium for years. And it clearly did not work out. It was a clear disaster. Maybe, do I dare say, the worst trade Cashman's ever made? Right? When it comes to working out. I mean, it's up there. So you look at a kind of trade like that. You look at other moves in the past where it hasn't necessarily worked out. The Yankees haven't had many years where they've been this good at the deadline. You don't necessarily need to force make a move. Listen, if a move's out there to get a great player, if Nolan Arenado becomes available, make the deal.
Right.
But making something for the sake of making something is not worth doing, especially when these aren't guys with 300 OPSs.
Right.
These are guys with 600 OPSs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, DJ's back. He can play third. He can also help Rizzo out at first. I feel like Torres is slowly picking things up. He's not a nightmare to watch at the plate.
No.
It's not like he's absolutely atrocious. And like you said, I feel like people were kind of spoiled because people love to bring up 2009, greatest infield ever. And, we can't have that again. It's not going to happen again. It's not realistic. That offseason was crazy, the way they got Teixeira, and it just worked out so well that all those guys gelled so well.
But that's the point, though. It's the way that you're saying, though. Look at how they got Teixeira. Look at how close they were to not having that infield and having Teixeira playing for the Red Sox. I mean, you're minutes away from that happening, and that infield was very much homegrown too, right? Posada was a homegrown Yankee. A-Rod had been there since way earlier on, right? Multiple MVPs at that point, a suspension already gone by, an injury already gone by. So you've got that with A-Rod already, right? I mean, Jeter, homegrown, Cano, homegrown. So you got a lot of guys in that lineup, and then Teixeira that you paid $1 zillion for. So you have a lot of guys that are homegrown in that lineup. You can't get that every single year. And, we see the comment from Jesse, and I think this is an overblown point, is Gleyber's errors can be a liability. Gleyber is not one of the worst fielders in baseball.
No.
It feels like Yankee fans notice it more because of his fielding, and he's not as good of a fielder as Robinson Cano, right? And Gleyber Torres has the Robinson Cano style of fielding where it's very lackadaisical, it's very smooth at times, and it looks lazy at times, right? And Cano was so damn good in the field that you forget that not every player can make it look that easy. And Gleyber doesn't make it look that easy and makes errors here and there. But guys, if you look at Gleyber's defensive WAR and look at other second basemen in the league, Gleyber is right in the middle, if not above average. He's not one of the worst defenders in Major League Baseball. Yankee fans are the only ones who talk about him like that.
I feel like his errors seem to be more in his head. You know what I mean? As opposed to him not being able to play the position. He's better at second than he was at short. And so many of the mistakes he makes are mental. And that's like a big
Well, and the problem with him too is a lot of players have said in the past that they have been able to take a bad day they had in the field and move that and separate that at the plate. So once they get to the plate, the error in the field goes away and they're able to change over that game. It actually helps them. Gleyber is the exact opposite. Gleyber makes an error in the field, gets into his head, and then has an awful at bat. He doesn't know how to separate the two. You saw it with his last year at shortstop. That's exactly what happened with him, right? Where he had the terrible year in the field, and then all of a sudden it barreled over into the plate, and he was off with the plate. Gleyber's that kind of player. He's more of a mental player. He's, dare I say, a 21st century baseball player, right? It's more about your mental health. It's more about where you are mentally in the game. And that's what he does. But again, I see the comments, and we do see these guys to complain about this. I mean, it's one loss out of 162. They're gonna lose heartbreaking games, but they're 20 games over 500 going into June. Like
Almost.
you're gonna lose games like this. You just are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're seeing other teams who were doing really well having issues of late.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dodgers lost 5 in a row. The Phillies are having trouble beating the Giants, who the Yankees are playing after the Angels, but we'll we'll preview that in a couple of days. So this is the time, like you said, there has never been a team. What?
Do you sit there and think that they're that necessarily go add a player, or they don't have glaring holes they need to go add at?
No.
If you go get bullpen, if you want to go get bullpen depth, I'm totally cool with that.
Maybe there, but yeah, no, I don't feel like there are glaring holes. And like you said, I mean, it's so weird to see Yankee fans overreacting to things because that never happens. And
there's years in the past where like they've needed a first baseman, right? The year they got Rizzo, they needed a first baseman. There's years in the past where they've needed to start. It feels like every year they've needed a starting pitcher, right? They're not in the market for those things right now. They don't necessarily need them. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not in the market for those things right now. So you don't necessarily need to go out there and force a move. Again, you don't need a Hall of Famer at every position.
Right. Okay, coming up next, we're previewing Game 2 against the Angels.
Hey everyone, it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. And I got a deal for you right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. They lost tonight, but they were up 3-0, and an NBA team has never blown a 3-0 lead. So you're likely to get them in the finals. Mavericks versus Celtics is your likely finals matchup. And you can still get the Mavericks to win the NBA title at plus 200 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. So you're going to get 2-1 for the Mavs to win the title in a series against the Celtics where who have the Celtics exactly played in that series so far? And plus, we're all Yankee fans. Who doesn't want to bet against Boston, right? No more fun than doing that. That's $150, guys, to bet on spreads, money line, player props, and more. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon, one word. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And guys, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on the Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Located Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV channels app. And also that you guys got to remember that you can catch every single Yankees pitch and home on the hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, Game 2, Yankees look to bounce back in the second game of this series at Anaheim. Another 9:38 start time. But we're going to get Luis Gil versus Tyler Anderson, the best pitching matchup of the series by far. Compared to the pitching matchups that we saw in San Diego, potentially the best pitching matchup of the road trip so far.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, the matchups in San Diego on paper were really amazing, like with the Yankees coming in, and then it didn't pan out that way. But yeah, I would agree that this one so far out of the road trip is probably the best one. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked forward enough yet, to be honest with you, of the pitching matchups that are going to be going on in San Francisco. But as I skim through them real quick, you're going to get Stroman versus Hicks. I just want to see if there's any like matchups that can compete with this one. You're going to get Schmidt versus Logan Webb. That's a pretty good matchup. And then you'll get into the last game in the month of June, in the first week of June, Cortez versus Snell. Blake Snell has a 10.5 ERA. Who Yankee fans, again, we all wanted Blake Snell, and look what happened. I'm looking forward to what Luis Gil does in a game where I kind of like to see pitchers with their backs up against the wall, right? And it's a good mental test for Luis Gil. Let's see how he pitches when the Yankees kind of really want to get a win, right? After you lose a heartbreaker like this one, you want to see Luis Gil go out there, and that's the sign of an ace, right? That's what an ace is supposed to do in your rotation, right? He's supposed to be the having an ace on a great team. The point of the ace, right, is when you have a losing streak that goes forward. And this is the point that I made yesterday. Say that Yamamoto isn't a true ace, because Yamamoto went out there where the Dodgers had 4 losses in a row and was supposed to be the ace that stops it. He's the stopgap, right? He's the pit stop that makes you, all right, turn it over, get a win, cut the losing streak, and move on. Yamamoto didn't do that. And that's what Garrett Cole is supposed to do for the Yankees, right? When they go on a losing streak, he's supposed to come in, make the big start, cut the losing streak off right there. All right, enough of this, and we move on, get a win, and advance from there. Let's see if Luis Gil has that in him. And I'm not necessarily calling Luis Gil an ace yet, but let's see if he's got that moxie in him. Let's see if he's got that, that the stones in him, if I were to say, where he goes out there and shoves and throws to his 2 ERA and cuts off the losing streak. I think he's got it in him. I've seen him have it in him all year. I think they have the ability to get a win in this spot, have Luis Gil pitch well, and have him also go up against the Angels' best pitcher in their rotation. So it's a very interesting start to see, and it's a very intriguing start to see for Luis Gil's career and where he's at.
Speaking of Cole, he threw a side session on Tuesday, and he's scheduled to face hitters again on Thursday. And if that goes well, he could be in position to start a rehab assignment a week from today.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could see him back way quicker than people thought.
Yeah. Things are happening quickly. But I'm looking forward to Gil against the Angels. I'm hoping the Yankees can do something against Tyler Anderson. Then again, they tend to, like you said at the top of the show, they tend to do better against better pitchers sometimes.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's that syndrome you see all the time in like football and basketball, right? Where the really bad team plays the really good team and the game is close.
Oh yeah, because they kind of play down to the opponent.
Yeah. And the Yankees tend to want to play down to pitchers that aren't really good, where they think they're gonna, they have that ego to them where they think they're gonna go out there and they're gonna just crack all over the really, really, really bad pitcher. And then all of a sudden you get up against a really good pitcher. And now they have determination. There is a little bit of a challenge going out there. But again, I think it's huge to see what Gil can do in these kind of games, because this is what separates a really good pitcher from like an elite ace type guy, right? Yeah. Like the elite aces, they stop the tracks and turn the winning streak back over. The really good pitchers just kind of go at their point in the rotation. They make their starts, they move on, and they go forward. The losing streak really doesn't matter. So I think, that means a lot to Luis Gil, but it means a lot to the Yankees to see what you're going to get out of a pitcher like this, because it tells you what you have in the future. Because I think when Luis Gil came up, you thought, all right, he's got good stuff. He missed the year with Tommy John. He worked on his stuff really well. And now he's a different guy. Now he's a different pitcher. Now he's trying to prove something to everybody. So, not that I want to throw challenges out there, but if you're Luis Gil, go out and do it. Prove to all the Yankee fans and prove to the Yankees that you're not just, Luis Gil, who's a rookie pitcher who's come in and looked nice.
Right.
Prove that you're Luis Gil. And, it's with Garrett Cole coming back with this news, right? If you're Luis Gil, go out there and every start make the Yankees' decision more and more and more challenging to take you out of the rotation.
Right.
Make them make a difficult decision.
Yeah. I mentioned this, I believe, last week, Gil talking about his relationship with Cole and how Cole helps him, and he calls him his teacher. Yeah. And that's what I want to see when Cole comes back. I want Gil to remain in the rotation, learning more from Cole every day and watching him prepare for his starts, because he hasn't really gotten to see that yet. And I would like for him to have that experience as well. And maybe that'll help, because, Cole is basically like the de facto assistant pitching coach at this point. Yeah. And he's just such an asset to have on the team, because not only is he a great player, but he's a great leader. And not only just a great leader, but a great teacher. He's teaching this kid how to handle this position that he's in right now. You saw it when he was sort of losing it. Cole directed Rizzo to tell him to calm down, and he did. And he buckled down, and he was great after that. So,
and you see this a lot too in young pitchers, right? I think taking him out of the rotation could do more damage to his future than it does better.
Let's
right?
not
You think it'll
Jabba
help him?
Let's
Yeah,
not
like
Jabba him.
you think it'll help him in the innings count? Like starting pitchers in the Major League Baseball work out and carry their bodies to be able to pitch 200 innings in a year. Luis Gil's obviously been doing that. Let him pitch. Like let him pitch. Did you come into the year thinking Luis Gil was going to be part of your rotation? Not necessarily, no, right? Once Cole got hurt, yeah, you knew he'd be part of it. No one thought Luis Gil was going to last past Cole coming back. He has. Let's keep riding this train. Don't take him out of the rotation and kill his confidence. Let him keep going.
Right. And even if he has a rough start, don't do it. It's just chalk it up to it's a rough start. He's looked good all year. It happens. The best pitchers have rough starts, including Garrett Cole. So, if something were to happen on Wednesday, just, I don't want them to be like, all right, well, this is our chance to take him out. No.
And again, if something rough happens Wednesday, you send Rodon out there who's supposed to be your ace while Garrett Cole's out. That's the benefit of having the pitchers pitching as well, is you have plenty of stopgaps.
Right. I'm just looking at some of the comments because I wasn't really looking because I was keeping track of all the other stuff that I need to do with the controls. But I agree with this one. It says about Rizzo that it's his last year and it's, disappointing that he's not having a good year. You could say the same for Glaber because this is his walk year and you want to see him do better. But again, it's May 29th at the moment and these guys still have a chance to turn it around. They have 4 months to do it.
Glaber had one of the worst Augusts in Major League history for a starter last August and September. If you look at his numbers reversed, he was great in September. So, I mean, guys can turn it around in due time. And we've seen Glaber do that before. Even if this is Glaber's last year with the Yankees, I still think Glaber finds himself a nice deal with someone in the major leagues. Yep. He's a major leaguer. He's going to last in this league.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's it for the live show. I think we did pretty good, except for that one minor mess up. I was bragging to the other hosts saying, oh, yeah, we do great when we do live shows. And I never mess up during live reads. And
got to check the ego.
Got to check the ego at the door, because that's when things happen. But anyway, thank you for joining us live. We're going to be live again tomorrow night because these late starts are just really inconvenient. And I didn't want to be up till 3 a.m. editing. So that's what we're doing for this. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't really look at the comments too much. Again, I'm working the board. So I'm just trying to make sure everything is going well for the show. One more time, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under these videos. So right down there, you get a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions. We give you roster moves. I didn't send the lineup out today. I was going to, but I was inundating you all with roster moves. So I decided not to do that to you. Or you can leave your questions under the pinned comment below the YouTube videos to get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Insiders get top priority, but we'll still answer your YouTube questions. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.